You were live. This week's episode of Here's What I Don't Get is brought to you by spores, molds, and funguses can be found in a wet basement near you.
Hello, and welcome back to Here's What I Don't Get from North to South, East to West, the only formerly confectionery-based podcast to tackle all of life's toughest issues. I'm your host, Tim the Handlebreaker, and with me today, as always, my main man, Tab.
Welcome back to the show. Big episode 297.
Yes.
Back upstairs yet again. It's probably gonna be by the time the show is over that I can go back and set back up in the basement. So
how does you die from black mold either way?
Oh man, so I cleared out a bunch of wet. I just tore the cardboard apart of boxes, and the stuff that was in there is just spilled on the floor now. And then I filled up the dumpster in the alley. Well, no, I didn't fill up the dumpster in the alley. One of my neighbors apparently, I don't know, moved, but they threw away trash and they filled every dumpster in the alley they had their shit dumped into.
Nice.
So I got
to do that.
Yeah, so I got two boxes of crumpled wet boxes into the dumpster before it was overflowing. So now I just have a pile of them in my backyard. It's supposed to rain tonight. Fucking great.
Fun.
Fucking great.
Yeah,
this really sucks. Just going through and throwing stuff away. The boxes of books are so waterlogged that they are impossible to lift.
I bet. Books can carry a lot of water.
So I'm gonna have to cut those open and shuffle up handfuls of books to the dumpster for probably an hour or two.
I remember when I was a lot younger, I had finished reading a book and it was a hardcover. It was a first edition, so it's a hardcover and kind of thicker than it like a paperback would be because the text is a lot larger on those for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I had finished reading it and I gave it to my brother, and we were coming home from our bus stop, and it was raining, and he was reading it on the bus.
Yeah.
And just absentmindedly walked out of the bus still reading it. And it's pouring rain. And he realizes as soon as he steps out, he goes, "Oh crap!" And he closes it and then tries to hide it in his jacket, and then he's running down the street and drops it in a puddle. And I pick it up from him. I'm just like, you can't handle this anymore. And it was,
your reading privileges are revoked.
I swear the thing was 15 pounds.
Yeah. My motorcycle gear was, while I was pulling it out of the water, it was I think my jacket weighed probably 70 or 80 pounds. It was like lifting a 10 or 11-year-old kid.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
What else have you had going on this week, Tim?
Let me think. It's been raining here too. Clearly not as bad. But that brought the temperatures down a lot.
Yeah.
Into so much so that one day I think we didn't get above 90.
Oh my God.
And I mean, you step outside and it might as well be December.
See, it's funny, the opposite of that. The high today was 96, and I was looking at my phone to see when the rain was going to start, and the weather was there is a heat advisory through Wednesday. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? The temperature's not even going to break 100, and you people are like, oh God, we're going to die in this heat wave of mid-90s. I remember summers as a kid, we would be I was in summer camp. It would be 115 degrees outside, yep. And that's where we just existed.
Yes.
There was nowhere to go indoors.
No. And I remember being in summer camp, and every other Tuesday was Sonic or maybe it was every Tuesday was Sonic Tuesday, because there was Sonic Drive-In across the street. So it'd be all right, kids, remember to bring your $5 on Tuesday, and we'll all go get Sonic at lunch, no matter like if it's 120 degrees outside or not.
Yeah. So it's funny how those how regionally that stuff changes. But yeah, it was actually a beautiful weekend. It was yesterday. I did some grilling. I grilled up some steaks.
Nice.
I had a friend of mine over and his wife, and we had steaks and corn and potatoes and cheesecakes and beer. It was great. Just great.
Nice.
So, yeah. Anyway, well, are you ready to get in some issues, Tim?
I am.
Well, let's launch right into it. Here's what I don't get. Mailers. I haven't set up any of my mail forwarding yet, and I'm really thinking about just not doing it, because if you were sending stuff to my old address, I don't care. But so most of the mail that arrives here is like either from tenants from before, names that I don't know, stuff that's not related to me, and that stuff goes straight in the trash. But I get one of the things that it's like nationwide, I guess, is that there's like ad day, and you get this big pile of ads of just like coupons for Burger King and Pizza Hut and whatever's on sale at your store, and it's just garbage.
Yes.
Like I'm not going to go. I'm not going. I flip through those and see if there's somewhere that I like eat regularly that I may want to take the coupons for. I pull the coupons out. I never bring them anywhere and end up just throwing the fucking thing away in 2 months when it expires.
You replace it with the next month's page of coupons.
Yeah. So this like you're paying some guy $24 an hour, or whatever, however much mailmen get paid, to basically just deliver trash into my house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking maddening. I get like every 3 days, it seems like twice a week, I'm getting a mailer from Spectrum. You want to upgrade your internet service or get cable or get this or that, on top of the fact that they just have Spectrum people like standing around inside of Walmarts and shit, just being like, excuse me, sir, who's your internet provider? I don't have the internet. I'm a 21st century Luddite. And they're like, what? I don't understand. It's like, I don't know. How many times in your lifetime have you changed a service like that? Like car insurance, cable, internet, cellular service, any one of those things where it's one of those necessary must-haves that you just kind of like, you find one that works.
Yeah.
Like I have Geico car insurance. I've had Geico car insurance the entire time I've been driving, because my mom had Geico car insurance for like, I think for her whole life, because my grandfather had Geico insurance because he worked for the government.
Yeah.
So, what I'm getting at here is that like every ad that I see for Progressive or Liberty Mutual or Allstate, like every so often I'll think, let me go look and price compare with what these other, and it's always like 20% more. And all their ads like, yeah, you can save $1,000 by switching to Allstate. Like, yeah, if for some reason
under very specific circumstances.
Yeah, very, very specific circumstances. And it's like, you guys can't beat Geico's base price, and I have a longevity discount that cuts evidently 20% of whatever everyone else is paying. So I don't understand why the mailers need to come, because when I lived in Tulsa, I had Cox Internet. When I lived in Norman, I had Cox Internet. Like there's really no other choice. I think I might have had Cox Internet in North Carolina too, come to think of it. But it's like, you can go with AT&T, you can go with Cox. And I was like, I really don't like AT&T, so I guess I'll just go with Cox. And then AT&T is just sending stuff like, switch now and get $200. Switch now and we'll pay your first month. We'll pay your termination fees. We'll pay this and that. And aside from like, when I moved in and I had an ad for AT&T and an ad for Spectrum, and AT&T said, we'll do a gigabit for $80 a month. And Spectrum said, we'll do 500 megabits for $40 a month. I was like, okay, I'm going to go with AT&T. and then I just threw away both of those ads and did all my buying online. I like, nothing is going to show up here that will make me change internet providers. The only thing that's going to make me change internet providers is if for some reason my service gets just abysmally bad.
I wonder why that would happen.
Yeah. So it's so fucking irritating to just basically be sent trash by these companies, because in a world where we're kowtowing and making all this like, oh, we're doing more sustainability and this and that, and like auto enroll and auto pay and paperless bills because it's better for the environment, and you'll save like, we'll give you this special deal. But for every like bill you're not sending me, you're sending everyone on my street a thing for them to
Yep.
switch to your service.
And
So,
even to me,
yeah.
right?
So where's the net gain?
I mean, how many times have you gotten ads for a service you already have?
Oh yeah, that happens all the time too, because it gets put in those mailers.
And even if it's not the same thing, there's they'll send you a thing like, hey, do you want to upgrade? Do you want to? We also offer phone service, and we also offer satellite TV.
Yeah, get your home phone, get your this, get your that, bundle and save. And like, I think the only one that I really, the thing that I am the most fickle about has been my cell phone service. Like I had Cricket, which was a regional network there in Tulsa that sucked. Then I switched to T-Mobile. I had T-Mobile for several years. Then I switched to Sprint. I had Sprint for several years. Then I switched to AT&T. I had AT&T forever, and now I'm on Verizon. So like I've gone through all the major companies aside from US Cellular at this point. And when I make the change, it's usually because like I want a new phone, and these people have a better price or a better phone. But that's something that's disposable. That's something that like devalues over time, is the usefulness of my cell phone. My internet,
most people go through those like every
one a year,
1 or 2 years, yeah.
But even still, a lot of people just like, I know people who have AT&T that have had AT&T since it was singular. And they're like, yeah, it sucks, but I keep it because we got grandfathered into unlimited free data.
Yeah.
Back before phones had data plans. And
so I just keep on paying the $15 a month for a new phone. I just get a new phone and keep on paying the phone monthly charge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the way to save the money. But I just, there's that like two-facedness of it where everybody's pretending to be environmentally friendly. Like Amazon, we're going to send you these shittier and shittier boxes because we're generating so much garbage. But at least Amazon isn't then Amazon doesn't like mail me a catalog of the shit that's on Amazon.
True.
You get these like flyers about just basic shit that's on sale at whatever grocery store. And again, like grocery stores, I went to Reese's for forever when I lived in Tulsa. And then I moved away and I went to this one grocery store in Norman all the time because they had a good selection and good prices. And that was it. Like, I'm not being swayed by ads to drive all the fuck over town.
But you know who is?
Who? White women?
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Like the difference is in how we shop. It's the same thing, I think. I think it's the same thing, right?
It's got to be. I mean, there is something about like 86% of all marketing is aimed at women, even for men's products. Mm-hmm. The advertising is aimed at women because a woman will be like, "Oh, why don't you try this other deodorant?" Like, bitch, why don't you mind your own business?
I heard a stat. I don't know, sometime this year. It was like, like men only make up like 10% of the. Oh, that's right. I know where I heard from this. I heard this from working for the makeup company, right?
Yeah.
So it was like men are only like 10% of the skincare
market share.
But even then, like 90% of that of men's skincare is bought by women or something like that.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you get these flyers and it's like, well, I better go to Reese's to get eggs this time because they're nickel cheaper than whatever the place is that's right across the street from me. Well, like, I haven't figured out what grocery store I'm going to here yet because there's like lots of choices and stuff that's close by. But like typically when Winco came to Tulsa, I started going to Winco all the time because Winco had really good prices. That was the long and short of it.
They had good prices and they have what you need.
Yeah, and then I just shopped at Winco, and like I would go to Walmart for the stuff like last minute because it was nearby. But that, like, I'm just going to this one store. I wasn't going to Walmart because I got a flyer in the mail that was like, yeah, it's got half off, all free and clear. Because half the time the ads are for shit like we've talked about this time and time again. Like I buy the same body wash, the same shampoo, the same stuff I've been buying for probably more than 10 years now. Laundry detergent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I just buy the thing that I know works.
Yes.
So when I see an ad that's like Tide half off, I don't think I'm going to go buy Tide. I'm especially not going to drive the fuck across town to go buy Tide. I just have this trash that just keeps pouring in through the mail slot. It comes in the mail slot. Sometimes it lands on the table between the mail slot and the trash can. But a lot of times it's just like, oh, what is this? Is there any real mail that has been like inadvertently tucked inside of this that I need to shake out? Okay, no, trash can. So what's the fucking point? Like there's a whole episode of Seinfeld about it where Kramer tries to cancel his mail because he keeps getting Pottery Barn catalogs. Like this is not a problem that is gotten better.
No.
And
I'm surprised, like with government, cutbacks and everything. I'm surprised that we haven't moved to like voluntary everyday service.
Yeah, that's the thing. The mail is always like, oh yeah, we're facing a budget shortfall. We have to try and figure out how to like make things less expensive. It's like, why don't you just deliver mail once a week?
Once a week, that's all I need.
I mean, package delivery, sure, do that every day. But this stack of envelopes that I get that are mostly like bills or service notices or ads, I really could. I mean, I got a prepaid Visa gift card today for activating my AT&T service here, and that is the only piece of mail that I was like happy to receive. I got all this fucking mail the other day from like the gas company, the electric company, and it all just comes in, and I'm like, okay, this must be my first bill. Even though I thought I signed up for automatic payments right away. So I start like flipping through those and I open them up and it's like an ad for the fact that they make electricity telling me my service options and stuff, because you can have like smart hours where you get charged less for moving your usage off peak. And I did the back of the napkin math in my head, and it's like it ends up just being the same. So I just picked the plan where I pay the same rate for electricity all the time. I don't get dinged for like my AC turning on between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m., which is the time everyone wants to fucking use their AC. And I was just like, why? This was all on your website when I signed up for service. Why are you mailing me this? I don't need any of this. This could be an email. Like so much of this shit could just be an email.
Yeah.
Too, and like
which you will also ignore.
Yeah, I'll just set up an email filter that takes all the stuff from American Electric, whatever the fucking company is, and put it into a folder that I will never read.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, we don't need the mail service anymore. They're just delivering trash. There's no reason that some guy in a blue outfit has to walk onto my porch every day. I think I've done one Amazon order since I moved in of a few things. And that stuff is in the process of being delivered. Outside of that,
it's even worse over there where you are because the mail guys are the walkers. They're not, here in town. It's, I mean, I've never seen it where a guy, stops at the beginning of a neighborhood and then does a run.
Oh, my old neighborhood was the neighborhood that our childhood friend and I lived in. That was a walk up neighborhood. Yeah,
it's a lot rarer here. That's all I've seen over there in St. Louis.
Most neighborhoods in Tulsa are driving routes, and the people won't get out of the truck for anything.
No.
We one time had mail not get delivered for like 6 days because someone was in town. There was some reason why I was parking in the street.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't remember what the exact reason was, but I was parking in the street, and because someone was parking in the driveway, and where I was parking was apparently too close to the mailbox. So if he couldn't like get in front of my car and be within arm's reach of the mailbox, he would just not deliver. And there was no notification about this, so a bunch of stuff didn't get delivered. And so I called and I'm like, what is going on? They said, oh yeah, this is a motor route. He has to have access to the mailbox. Is there someone parked in front of it? I'm like, well, I'm parked near it. I'm not parked in front of it. They're like, yeah, and I'm like, he can't take 2 steps out of the mail truck to put envelopes in the mailbox. And they're like, no. And I said, so what about the packages that he puts on my front porch? Why is he allowed to deliver those and not he can take and walk to the front porch, deliver a package, but he can't walk 2 steps to the mailbox because there's a car parked there? What if that's not even my car? What if that's just some asshole neighbor? And they're like, we don't have any answers for that, sir. Fuck you guys.
I guess I have a nice, because if there's a package, he'll also just bring the mail. Yeah, if there's clearly someone home and he's package, he'll just also bring the mail.
Yeah. You must have a nice mailman. So yeah, they're it's just a garbage service. We don't need it. I'm tired of all of this trash showing up in my house, and mostly I'm tired of being advertised products that I have no interest in.
Yeah,
like the Spectrum really set me off when I got the second one this week from them, and I was like, new offer inside, open right away. Like there is no world where I will have Spectrum internet. I know who you are, Comcast. You're like fucking you're like Leatherface. Just cut off someone's face and pasted it like a goddamn Vidian. Pasted his face over your face. Like, no, I'm totally not Comcast.
Yeah. Or like the Joker in Batman, when the Joker cut his own face off and then stapled it back onto his own face.
Yeah,
he did that.
USPS
but everyone still knows it's the Joker.
Stop delivering mail after 15 days of non-use. This is why they keep sending junk mail. So if your house doesn't get any mail for 15 days, then they won't have to deliver to you anymore. Sons of bitches. Yeah, well, that's my issue, Tim. What is your first issue this week?
Here's what I don't get. Oh, woe is me. I'm so rich. I have so many problems. Did you hear about this list of private jets, Tab?
No.
So there's a website there's a Twitter account called Celeb Jets, and it tracks all private jet usage by celebrities. Because even though they're private jets, all this stuff has to be logged with the FAA.
Yeah.
And so they put out a list of like the 2022 top offenders of private jet usage, and topping the charts was Taylor Swift. In 2022 alone, her private jet had amassed 170 flights.
Holy shit!
That's it's almost every day, at least one flight, about one flight a day, because we're only in August. So, you figure 365 is days in the year. Cut that about in half.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is she's like a big environmentalist.
Of course, they all are. Every fucking environmentalist. Yeah. Al Gore talking about, when he went on his tour for his PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
He was fucking taking like a 727 everywhere.
Oh, of course.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Like I shouldn't be able to change parts on my own car to be environmentally friendly in California, but people like Taylor Swift can fly a jet every day.
Yep. So the total airtime was almost 16 whole days in the air.
Wow. Which
is equivalent to 8,293 tons of total emissions, which is 1,184 times more than the average person's total annual emissions.
Of course. But you need to like live in a pod.
Of course. Yes.
And like walk to work. So that people like Taylor Swift can continue to fly their jets.
Yep. And so when this came out, people were like, "Hey, what's going on? Why are you, why are you taking so many? Why are you using your private jet so much and polluting the air or whatever?" Right? People that care about that. And they put out a statement that said she wasn't even on most of those flights.
That's supposed to be better?
That's supposed to be
That's better?
She said
Oh,
that
she wasn't even flying it. She was just having it like
she loans it out apparently.
Yeah, just take the car around the block once a week so that I let it idle up to temperature and everything. Jesus Christ.
One of the Kardashians had a flight of 3 minutes logged this year. A 3-minute long flight.
What is that? Does this fly across LA from like LAX to
I guess they
Ontario or something?
They probably went to go get groceries.
Fuck me. Like when Kobe Bryant died in the helicopter crash, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, it's so tragic. It's so sad. Kobe Bryant flew in helicopters everywhere he went because he didn't want to be in traffic with the plebes.
Yeah.
He thought he was too good to wait in traffic with you people.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, and you've said it before, like, Elton John, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elton John, as soon as he's done with his show, gets right into a car from stage, goes right to his private jet, goes right to his back to his house.
Yeah, Martha's Vineyard, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sleeps in his own bed every night.
And he's still pulling the wool over people's eyes with this whole goodbye tour thing. He's been on his farewell tour for 5 years now.
Jesus.
5 years. And it's still going on.
Of course.
I think he's got like 2 more years planned or something. God. You could have put out like 4 or 5 albums of original material in that time.
Rush's farewell tour, they did what, like 24 stops or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Like they did a summer. They started in May and they finished in like August or September.
The length of a tour.
That's the length of a tour. It's a season. And less than 6 months, and then fucking going on tour for years. I'm sure he's doing like 1 show a week. But even still, you're not on a farewell tour anymore.
I mean, at that point, I don't know why he didn't just move to Vegas
and do
a residency.
Yeah, because that would be embarrassing, and you'd have to live in Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, he could just do what. Who's the guy that played Billy Joel? Billy Joel took a residency at Madison Square Garden, so he'll never go on tour again.
That was probably really expensive.
Yeah, I guess it makes enough money, so whatever.
Well, it's not just like regular like celebrities that do this stuff. I saw a news article earlier. I got it pulled up here. A YouTuber, it's a video game YouTuber. I've never heard of him. His name is Jay. It's All Business. Anyways,
Okay.
he covers Diablo Immortal, the new mobile Diablo game. He spent over $100,000 on beefing up on one character because it's a pay to win mobile game.
Holy shit!
He spent over $100,000 on it, and now he's complaining to Blizzard because
Did they nerf it?
No, not that they nerfed it. He was too powerful, right? So he spent so much money on his character that when he was playing PvP, he was just winning all his matches. And his win-loss ratio was so high that now he can't fight anyone in the game.
Start a new character, dipshit.
He said it takes between 48 and 72 hours to get into a match for him.
Yeah,
you did it. You won.
Yeah,
you won. Like, you spent all the money on a pay-to-win game, and you won.
And you won, yeah. What does he want them to do?
I don't know. This should be like, this is the end game. Like, you did it.
Yeah, you're the Diablo Immortal. You're the king of Skyrim now.
Yeah.
$100,000 on a fucking mobile game. That is just terrible. The disgusting excess on its own.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that someone would blow through just frivolously waste money like that. I'm not one of those people. Like, so when Elon Musk offered to buy Twitter, for $45 billion, whatever it was, everyone was like, Elon Musk could cure world hunger with that money instead of buying Twitter, which is an astonishing thought to me that people thought that. Like, they think that the problem, the cause of world hunger is that we're just not throwing money at it enough.
Yeah.
And then, like the very next week, the U.S. gave Ukraine $45 billion for their war with Russia. I was like, well, whoa! What happened to curing world hunger? I know this one war is bad and everything, but like world hunger, that's that's going to save way more lives.
Yeah, I also
I
like
hate
to
those
think
comparisons, but this guy is definitely like. Think about what you personally would do with $100,000 to like just enrich your life and wasting time.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of vacation would you go on with $100,000? You can't spend it on here's the rule. You can't spend $100,000 on anything practical.
Sure.
Right. So you can't like pay off a house. You can't buy a new car. You can't pay off your debts. You have to just blow this money.
You have to splurge.
Yeah, you have to splurge. And like, what would you do? What kind of vacation would you take? Like, I'm going to go to Europe.
I would take all of them. All of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you go on a globe-trotting, like, fuck you, I'm rich vacation.
Exactly. And this guy is dumping it into a cell phone.
Yeah.
Just think about that mentality that has to happen.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I spent too much money on this. It's buyer's remorse. That's what he's having is buyer's remorse. And we're supposed to like, we're supposed to have empathy. They want us to have empathy with these people. And like, empathy comes from you understanding the motivations that make someone make a decision. You may not agree with them, but you can like feel bad for what happened. I can't put myself in a mindset where I would pay $100,000 for a video game of any kind. Short of like scanning my brain into a game of Skyrim. Like, all right, Tab, you're on your deathbed. We're going to just upload your consciousness into this old Xbox 360 and you will live eternally in Skyrim. Outside of that, I can't see myself spending $100,000 on anything.
No,
vanilla Skyrim with no DLC.
Yeah, I just spent $4 on a game on Steam, and it's some of the most fun I've had in a game in a long time.
Oh yeah, so I bought the Mafia Definitive Edition during the summer sale, and I think it was like $25 for all 3 games. Fucking Mafia 1 was great. I started playing Mafia 2. It's not quite as good, but
that's only because it's a little bit it's in that like 2011 2012 era of stuff where they were trying to still figure out like modern gaming and then like, you know, the old early Xbox stuff. And they didn't remaster that one. They only did 1, and 3 was like 5 years after 2.
Yeah,
it's stuck in the middle.
The thing that sucks about 2 is that the controls all changed. It's like you do all the same actions, but the buttons to do them are different. So I got used to like the control scheme in Mafia, and then I start Mafia 2, and it's like, why can't I climb over this wall? Oh, because climbing over the wall is the left bumper on this one, not Y. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, dude. Start a new character.
Do it again. Spend another $100,000.
Yeah. Waste even more money, you fucking moron.
Yeah.
Just give like people gift cards, $10,000 gift cards to this mobile game, and just be like, here, upgrade yourself so I have someone to play.
Yeah.
I'm too good at this. It's not even like, can you even be proud of that as an accomplishment?
No, because it's not like he like trained for hours and hours. It's not like he's the best. He's not the best at the game, right? It's not like an esports player who, you know, the Overwatch guy or whatever, right? He's 10 hours a day, 6-7 days a week, every day, right?
Yeah.
And you can be like, oh well, like it's kind of like frivolous, but he is the best at that game.
Yeah,
like,
it's stupid, but like you did commit some amount of work and time and resources into being good. This one, you just like fucking swiped a credit card and now you're unbeatable.
Yeah, he just got like all the gold gems or whatever.
This is why mobile games continue to make money too, by the way, is people like this. What a shit heel. I don't have anybody to play.
Yeah.
fuck.
Like a regular person, like that, like was like given $100,000 just for this task, right? Like a regular person, like you, like if Blizzard was like, hey, Tab, here's $100,000. We want you to spend it all on Diablo Immortal, and then make a YouTube video about it. Your YouTube video wouldn't be like, why can't I play against anyone else? I'm too good. I spent too much money. It would be like, I spent $100,000 like on all this frivolous stuff. Look how dumb it was.
Yeah. The customer support email should just come back like I can't play anybody because I spent too much money in your game. They should just been like, LOL, get good.
Yep.
or no, or just GG.
GG.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. Roll credits.
Yeah. Like the solution is very simple. Start a new character and this time only spend $50,000 upgrading him so that your win-loss ratio is I hate these people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I wasn't even flying my jet all of those times.
Yeah.
I spent so much money in your game and now I can't have fun anymore. Like, yeah, it happens to all of us. We all we put so many hours into a game, we love it, and then like we get 5 years older and we go back to play it again and we're like, oh, this is kind of dog shit.
Yeah. Oh, you burn out.
Yeah, you burn out. I put in too many hours into like Overwatch, and now
that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
It was the only game I played for like 3 years straight.
Yeah, it like move on, find a new game.
Yep.
And get a life.
It's really not hard. You know how often I think about going back to Overwatch? Never.
Once a month.
Never. Cold turkey, man. It's easy.
$100,000 on a video game. Yeah.
I can't even imagine spending $1,000 on a video game.
Like literally I can't imagine spending $70 on a video game. Like, that's what they want that's what they want the price of video games to be now. And I just like, no thanks. Like I'll buy stuff in the Steam summer sale. I really have a hard time even thinking of $60 for a game. Like if there are games on Steam that I'm like, yeah, that looks really interesting. What is it? $30? No. Wish list. We'll wait for a summer sale. See if we get this fucker down to 15, and then it'll be like,
I'm in the same boat. I use the website called "Is There Any Deal?"
Mm-hmm.
So you log in to Steam, and then type in like I have Red Dead Redemption 2 on my list, right?
Yeah.
So I type in Red Dead Redemption 2, and then it'll send you an email when it reaches a price that you pick.
And then you get that email, and you're like,
nah,
I bet it can go lower.
Yeah. Yep.
And like that's the gambling of. And sometimes like so they released. I started playing Jurassic Park Evolution, where you SimCity.
Yeah.
And then they made a second one, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I enjoyed the first one. Maybe I'll buy the second one. It was on sale on Steam. And then I started reading the reviews, and they're like, yeah, they just added a lot more tedious tasks for you to have to do in this game, kind of ruining it. Like, yeah, it looks better than the first one, but the like having to click on every single and refuel your electricity stations every fucking 5 minutes makes this game unplayable. I was like, oh yeah, I'm out. So, well, do you have anything more on your "woe is me, I'm so rich"?
What I wish is that instead of spending $100,000 on Diablo, he would have just mailed it to me. Seriously, like think about like if he had just given even like if he had given $1,000 to 100 like of his YouTube subscribers, right? If he had given 100 of his YouTube subscribers $1,000.
You could level them up, and they become like your video game now.
Yeah.
I'll sell my life to someone. You just give me money, and I'll go.
You be my whale.
Yeah, I'll go do things based on your like a video game character. Like, okay, I want you to quit your job and like go become a cocktail waitress at Hooters. You got it. $50,000. Fucking yeah. Let's. I'll turn in my notice today.
Yeah.
I'm quitting to go become a cocktail waitress at Hooters. Do you think that's going to work out for you? Probably not. Well, that brings us to the middle of our episode, which means it's time for...
Cet épisode vous est présenté en partie par le réseau de nouvelles Rikita. Définitivement pas de fausses nouvelles.
Well, Tim, what news do we have today?
Our first news story, speaking of Spectrum, our first news story comes to us from Texas. Back in 2019, a Spectrum field technician visited an old lady's house to help her with her phone line. He then came back the next day after he had fixed it, applied by killing her. A couple days later, responded to an found her wounds, and found out the credit card, went on a spree, living in his for a couple of days. So this was back in 2019, and the trial just ended, and now has to pay $7 billion in punitive damages.
Spectrum's paying this?
Spectrum has to pay $7 billion in punitive damages on top of the $375 million in compensatory damage to the family directly.
So
because
who's the $7 billion going to?
I don't know. Going to someone.
Fucking
But
punitive damages, man.
the complaint against Spectrum was that when Time Warner Cable got bought by them, merged, Time Warner Cable an employee screening when they got and so they hired this guy without verifying his employment history, which was he had been fired for falsifying documents, fellow employee. So on that, the jury found Spectrum forgery during the whole when they tried lawsuit in arbitration. Their forgery in that Spectrum lawyers. All the best part about this is that the guy charged for the service call killed her.
So you're saying that if I get Spectrum cable, there's a chance someone may kill me?
Yes, a very high chance someone will kill you.
Yeah, you became like a total digital robot during that segment too.
I love it.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Spectrum.
No kidding.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What's our next news story?
Our next news story comes to us from New York. Shoppers, store employees, and social media users expressed disbelief after discovering a product that was out of reach behind lock and key at a Duane Reade inside New York City's Port Authority bus depot this week. Apparently, the 1-2 punch of inflation and rising crime has caused sort of a crime spree in New York City this summer. And so this Duane Reade has put the cans of Spam under lock and key. They're in those plastic cages that you have to open with a key.
Like DVDs come in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're putting the Spam and the cans of tuna in those.
Oh my God.
But you gotta think, like, if someone's gonna steal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even out of desperation, you're still gonna get the good stuff. Right?
The chicken of the sea, not the Spam.
Well, so if you're stealing out of desperation because you're hungry, right? You're stealing, so you might as well go with like something good and what you want, and not canned processed meat.
On the other hand, canned processed meat, you can get a bunch of them like in your bag and then feed yourself for a long period, over a longer period of time. Versus like a steak is one meal.
I guess.
I feel like so we were talking about this last night at dinner. The Walgreens near us is all of the body wash is like behind a glass cabinet locked up.
Huh.
It's like if you're in a situation where you're stealing body wash, like everything's fucked up for you. But then I wondered like, are these people just stealing out of something to do?
I don't think so. Because that's not the first thing that comes to mind when I'm bored, you know?
Well, no, sorry, not as like something, not as like, oh, hey, let me go out and steal some stuff. Rather, they're not stealing because they're in need. Like they could buy this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't want to.
Oh, gotcha.
Like, oh, I can save $100 a month on groceries by just running through the door and stealing everything.
I'm sure there are some people that think like that. But
Yeah.
I would figure they would be a little bit more smarter at the store stuff. Like they would like go to Walmart and put the steak on the weigh station and then press bananas, you know?
Yeah. Or buy a grill, set the steaks on top of the grill, and then forget to pay for them and when they walk out of the store.
Sure.
I inadvertently shoplifted the other day. I was buying a new cat box,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I had grabbed one, and I actually grabbed two. So I just scanned the one, got home and set it up, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, what is this?" I realized there were two nested together. Like, oh well. Send the cops, Walmart.
If only they had put those in giant plastic cages.
Giant plastic containers, yeah. Well, Tim, what's our next news story?
Our next news story comes to us from Atlanta. In 20 sent to medical facility in this Arlington was decomposed. Expected murder. The problem is that St. Louis never got the body.
Oh no!
And FedEx never also returned the body. So you always hear like there's a body in a FedEx box that just got lost somewhere. A dead, decomposing body.
Oh, that's horrifying. Or it got delivered somewhere.
Yeah.
And like, guy opened, he's like, I didn't order a package from FedEx. What is this? Like, oh, a dead body. Jackpot.
I didn't order a man. This was 2019, and they still have a body. So you do there.
That's fucked up, man.
Look, I mean, if they're gonna lose your motorcycle parts, or they're gonna lose, a book, or they're gonna lose anything you buy, they're gonna lose a body. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
It's just them. It's how they work.
How embarrassing.
Well, our last news story comes to us from across the pond, but a little further south, Spain.
España.
Of course, just like everywhere else, they're having some high temperatures, record high temperatures there. At a news conference in Madrid, the Spanish Prime Minister said that the first step he has taken to save energy is to not wear a tie, and that he suggested that his ministers and public officials and workers in the private sector do the same thing to save energy, not wear ties.
So that you're like moderately less hot?
Yes.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, you could. You what they could do is like install AC in the building.
Yeah. Well, that would take up energy and money.
Yeah.
It's insane to me that in like the year 2022 there are areas that don't install air conditioners. Like my sister moved to Portland, and in Portland they just don't have AC in their houses.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, well, it's most of the time it's not hot enough to need it. Like, yeah, most of the time that's great and everything, but that like 5 times a year that it gets miserably hot, wouldn't it be nice to just walk over here to the like flick the thermostat on and turn on AC?
Or even like if it had to like warm up, right? Because it hasn't been on in a year or so, right? You know that's going to be hot next week, so like turn it on now.
Yeah, if
pay for a week.
AC is much easier to like. It's much easier to hold a temperature than to change temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a whole mathematical thing about like the area you have and how long it'll take to get it to bring the temperature down 1 degree, whereas holding a temperature is much easier. So yeah, like people do have those Nest thermostats and stuff where they program them to like turn on and off based on all these like stupid factors. It's like you just like find a good temperature and just leave it there.
Yeah.
Idiots. But yeah, so just install AC compressors. It'll be fine. So, do we have any more news?
I had a news story, but then I read it and it was absolutely disgusting, and I decided not to read it.
Wow, that's good. Thank you for not
you're
sharing.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Well, this has been
Le réseau nouvelle Wikida, définitivement pas de fausses nouvelles.
Well, that takes care of our legal obligations this week, Tim. But you know what it doesn't take care of?
What?
AC. And if you want to help with AC, you can visit us at patreon.com/HWIDG, which stands for
Here's What I Don't Get,
which is the name of the show. And over there, we have 5 tiers. We have the $1 tier, which gets you early access to each week's episode, plus our monthly minisodes. We just did a makeup for March. Going to try and do some more makeup. Also, so last week we said episode 299, we were going to open it up for fan call-ins, specifically shooting for getting Sage and Mr. Kill Everything on the show at the same time to let them have a verbal joust live and in person. And we said August 15th, but it's actually not going to be August 15th. It's going to be August 14th because I plan to be in Tulsa that weekend. So Tim and I will be live in studio together. We will find some mid-2000s internet to stream from, and we'll do the show. We'll be live, and then we'll bring on guests. So mark your calendars for that Sunday. Probably going to be like early afternoon, like 4 or 5 p.m. Central Time, and then it'll be like a big farewell, and episode 300 will be normal. So check that out. Also on the Patreon, we have our $2 tier. We throw random bits and bobs like movie reviews. Haven't done one of those in a while either, but it is what it is. We have a $5 tier. We do our monthly bonus episodes. Here's what I do get. We drop the hate and talk about what's great. Working on making up those as well. And then we have our $10 tier where you, the fans, submit films and we sit down and watch and record feature-length commentary. We need to get back on those. And then finally, the $50 Spite Producer tier where you get a say in the show. You can ask for special guests. You can ask for special things. We got a note from we have a Spite Producer request this week that I think is going to be really, really great. So
okay.
We will get to that later in the episode. But also something I should have done this at the beginning of the episode. I forgot to do this. We got a package.
Oh, great.
This week. Thanks for all the great podcasting over the years. Your podcast is my favorite one, and I'm sad to see it go, but all good things must come to an end. Hopefully you can find the time to create more content in the future. I know lots of fans of the show would enjoy seeing you review movies, TV shows, or just doing stuff on YouTube, or even start a new podcast someday. So be sure to keep us all in the loop if you do. I made Skelly for you and sent you a few other things just as a thanks for all the effort you put in over the years for making a great podcast and being the voice of sanity in the crazy world we live in. I hope all the contents of the package have reached you intact. Enjoy and take care. P.S. Skelly's head is removable. Just twist and pull up, but be careful not to break his neck. So I've got this here. Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
A new mat for the bar.
Yeah.
Just put that right up there. Actually, it's all covered in junk right now. Let's see. We got some hot sauces. Looks
Nice.
like they actually came intact. There's no leakage. Garlic Reaper sauce.
Ooh, that's some good stuff.
Yeah, I'll be bringing these to Tulsa. Maybe try some stuff. Try some good home cooking. And this is Heartbeat hot sauce. It's from Thunderberry, Ontario. It's pineapple habanero.
Ah.
There's a little note in here as well. The Torchbearer Garlic Reaper hot sauce is too hot for most, but the flavor is amazing. It's my all-time favorite hot sauce. I would recommend putting a drop of it in with some ranch to dip your pizza in.
Huh.
The Heartbeat Pineapple Habanero is another one of my favorites and goes great on burritos or eggs.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll see how Tim takes that. Got some jerky and some hot pretzels.
Nice.
Who doesn't
And
love
you're
beef
a big jerky fan.
I do.
You like to jerk it all the time.
And then this 3D printed skeleton.
That is awesome. It's not just a skeleton though; it's a Lego skeleton.
It's a Lego skeleton, yeah.
That is awesome.
His head twists. Man, I remember having like minifigures and with the skeletons. You know, the Johnny Thunder sets. I think was the first one that Lego Adventures that had the skeletons, and I always thought it was like such a cool element, the rib cage and everything. Now to have a giant one, that's pretty.
That's
awesome.
cool.
Have him stand next to Batman over there.
Yes. The two watchers of your domain.
Well, cool. Thank you. I don't want to read the name that's on the box because it's like a legal name.
Yeah.
It's from Heisenworm.
Cool.
Sent that. So thank you, Heisenworm. Well, let's get back into some issues, Tim. Here's what I don't get. Furniture stores. So I moved. One of the things in moving, like I have to start buying new furniture. So I bought a couch. And last year sometime, Truckin' and Tuckin decided he wanted to get new furniture for his house. And since you and I spend a lot of time over there, he was like, why don't you guys come and like help decide? He suggested like just buying a bunch of recliners instead of, but we ended up finding like a sofa that was really comfortable. It's like a sofa and a chair and an ottoman for a good price. But there was one of the places we went to where they had this sofa that I liked because it was high off the ground. I'm a tall guy. I always have to lift my furniture up because it's more comfortable for me. Not usually comfortable for everybody else, but for me, it's more comfortable. So fuck you. It's my couch. But this sofa was like nicely tall all by itself. And Truckin' and Tuckin was buying the furniture. This piece of furniture was not practical for him. I was just like, I liked it. Maybe when I move, I'll look into buying this sofa. I'll come back.
Yeah. And
that guy would not fucking leave me alone about checking out this other sofa that was more expensive because it was made with memory foam. Oh, it's going to be way more comfortable. It has one of those like center console armrests and all this shit. And it's like, yeah, I hate all of this. I want a sofa that I can lay down on. I want a sofa that's high off the ground. This is not high off the ground. You can't fucking lay down it. I hate recliners. My feet dangle off the ends. Leave me the fuck alone. Stop trying to pressure me into buying something I don't want. So, like, and then just every other furniture buying experience my entire life. My ex-girlfriend and I bought a sofa several years ago. Went to Mathis Brothers because Mathis Brothers, like, we went to Mathis Brothers because her parents had bought a bunch of furniture when they built their house. Then they took back a bunch of furniture they didn't work out, and Mathis Brothers wouldn't give them a refund, so they gave them a store credit. And you know how often people buy furniture, like that's a perfect reasonable thing. So they're like, yeah, we're never going to use this store credit. We really didn't like shopping there, but if you guys want to use this store credit and to buy a sofa, so we did, and that's why we ended up shopping at Mathis Brothers, and we were paying cash for the sofa. Like in my mind, we have like our money and then this gift card amount, and then we're just going to pay for the sofa and walk out. And the sales stuff was very annoying because the lady was like constantly pestering us about this and that. Oh, try this one. It's like, yeah, we have a very, very specific set of criteria. It has to be high off the ground. It has to be longer than 6 feet because I'm 6 foot tall person. I want a sofa that I can comfortably lay down on, that I don't like have the armrests aren't so high, your feet are way up on the one end. And so like we find this one, and she's like, well, yeah, this isn't actually on its way out. You know, you have to buy the display model. I'm like, that's perfect. I see this price that's here on this tag. We will give you that much in cash minus whatever our store credit is, and then we'll just put this in my pickup truck that we drove over here and take it home. And they're like, oh, no, you have to go through the financing department. No, we're not financing this. We're buying the sofa today with money. That's in our pockets right now. It was just such a fucking nightmare. One of my friends that were over for dinner last night, they were talking about shopping for some furniture, and they were being like harassed by the salesman. And so they were like going to another section, and when they got to a T in the aisle, instead of going like both going right, they split up and went 2 different directions. And the salesperson was like, "Oh my God,
he didn't know what to do."
So it's just, so I'm going out to seek out furniture with all of these horror stories playing out in my head, and I ended up going to this place called Midwest, like I think it was the Midwest Clearance Center, and it was the best furniture buying experience I've ever had in my entire life. It was like way the fuck not near anywhere. It was in this little like strip mall industrial park, and they had a ton of furniture packed into a very, very small area. I walked in looking for one that I'd seen online, didn't really love it. Ended up finding this other sofa that was up on a rack, and I was like, yeah, I kind of like this one actually a little more than the one that I came in to look for. And he's like, okay, cool. Well, let me look and see what our deal is. Cause like that price that's on the sofa is not always the price when we advertise online. We usually advertise them lower. So let me see if I can find it priced lower than what it was online.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in, he's like, yep, we're advertising it on Facebook or somewhere at this price. So I'll sell it to you at that price, even though you didn't see the ad. And I was like, wow, this is great. And then he's looking, he's like, oh, actually we're out of stock. You'll have, like, I can sell you this display model. It's really like, it hasn't been used. It's been up on that rack. I've taken it down like 2 or 3 times to let people sit on it. But for the most part, people just touch it. Like we can go inspect it and I'll give you a greater discount. He ended up discounting this couch so much that it was less with tax than the price on the sticker that was on the sofa.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I didn't haggle any of that. He was just like, yeah, let me click this in here. And he had it at one price. He's like, no, we can definitely get that lower. Let's get that lower. And he like keeps discounting the and I was like, this is great. So I paid for the couch that day. He's like, yep, you can come back anytime. We'll hold it until you can get over here. Like we charge $169 for delivery if we're delivering one piece or if we're delivering a whole house full of furniture. So it'll probably be cheaper for you to just like rent a U-Haul, which it was. It was like $50 to rent a U-Haul. I show up, we fucking put the couch in the back of this U-Haul that I rented for 2 hours, and I brought it over here. It was phenomenal. Like it was absolutely no pressure. He wasn't like, oh, actually you should try this one because it's like this is a $2,000 couch, or do you want to like maybe we can do how we have a love seat and a chair? And I was like, no, I have a very small living room. Like I really just a couch. He's like, okay, cool. It was, I just like, it was like buying a thing at anywhere else where you just go in and you're like, yeah, I want the 75-inch TCL TV. Well, you sure you don't want the 8K one or here's the OLED? It was just like, fucking pull this fucker off the rack. And if I had a pickup truck, I could have just left that day with that sofa. Like why do we allow these other places to exist when like the next time that whatever the next furniture piece I need to buy, a dining room table or a new bed or something, that's the first place I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm driving over there and I'm going to fucking ask for the guy that works there and be like, all right, cool. Here's what I'm looking for. What do you have? Because they're also there's like a bunch of locations And sometimes the other locations have things that this one doesn't. But you can look at it all online and just buy it wherever you are, and then they will internally get it to the one closest to you, and then you pick it up. Or you can have it delivered, and they'll deliver it from wherever their warehouse is. Like, I was so prepared to grit my teeth, and be annoyed and be like pressured to just like basically one stop, be done with shopping for the day. Found I ended up, I got it. I think I bought it on Friday. I got it home on Saturday. I fucking fell asleep watching TV on Saturday afternoon. It's a great couch. Yeah. And so, like, why do these furniture stores exist? Why do we allow this to, like, why do we need a salesperson to make any of this shit work? Like, you've got all the sofas around here. You've got all the recliners or the dining room tables and this shit. Like, I don't need someone to hold my hand.
It's not like it's not like a sofa's gonna have some secret compartment you don't know about, or some feature that they have to explain to you.
Yeah, they're not. It's not like a high dollar piece of electronics. It's something to sit on or to sit at or to store clothes.
It's wood and fabric.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking simple. And so we create these stores that are just a hell. Like, everyone always complains about furniture stores and the high pressure salesmen and stuff. Like, so why do we keep going there?
Yeah.
IKEA has this shit figured out. You wander around inside the IKEA and pull the little tags out of whatever thing you like, and then you go down to the warehouse and you're like, oh yeah, we're sold out of everything. Fuck you.
Yeah. Last time I was looking for a bed, I went to some furniture store and they're like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a bed. And they're like, okay, great. Come over here. The beds are over here. Why don't you try this one right here? It's $2,700.
Yeah.
Like, no, thanks. I'm good.
Yeah.
And you couldn't, I couldn't buy a bed that was like, I think under $800 there.
Yeah. And they do all that staging shit. And like, look, this is what your living room would look like. You buy our like entertainment center and this sofa set with the coffee table and the side tables, and then finance it through us for the next like 15,000 years. No, I just want to pay for a thing. Like, I have the money. I'm just going to come in here and pay for this.
It needs to be like a separate thing, right? You need to have like a furniture store, which is where you went, right? Mm-hmm. And then whatever most furniture stores are, which is they want to sucker you into the high value. They want the salesman to like, right? Salesman wants their comp, based on how much they can sell you, but they also want you to finance so that you're stuck, paying them for years instead of at once. So there needs to be two where you go there and you look around, figure it out, and then the other place you're just like, I guess I need some furniture. You go to that place and let some, kooky salesman, charge you up all this extra stuff.
Yeah, that was the other thing is, so I ended up talking to the guy while we were like getting the invoices and printed and stuff. And I said, this is the greatest furniture buying experience I've ever had. And he said, yeah, like this whole company, we try to be not like all those others. So people come in and they say, I'm just looking. And I say, all right, great. I'll be here if you have any questions. And people will walk in, look around, walk out, and he just, he says hello and he says, thanks for coming in. And that's it. Like going to a pawn shop or something.
Yeah.
Just not making me feel like I'm being chased. That's the way I've always felt, like walking into a Mathis Brothers or Ashley Home Store or whatever those other places are. I always feel like I'm being chased, stalked like a gazelle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to get these guys to buy this. Oh, check out this one that has memory foam. This is so much better than this one that you came in here looking at that's like in your price range. Oh, we can get you approved for, financing on probably pretty much any of these. Do you have good credit? Don't let the cost be a factor, because we have lots of different terms and our warranty. Be sure to get our extended warranty. Like, it's a dining room table. What could possibly happen to it?
I'm gonna spill some pizza on it and then return it to you.
Yeah, I remember there was one, like my parents were buying a dining room table and they're like, yeah, we have like our extended furniture protection. You could go home, take this home today, right now, put it in your dining room, get a hammer and just beat the shit out of this fucking table. You come back, we'll give you a brand new table. I was like, that's kind of fucked up.
But also, why?
Like, who's going to do that?
Yeah.
I wanted to do it just out of, I remember at one point we did have one of our sofas replaced because like the wood in the armrest just broke one day.
Yeah.
And so that it ended up getting replaced for free because they got that protection. But like, how often does that really happen?
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, like a good sofa, a good dining room table, you just kind of buy them once and then you're done. So that's the shame about this store being so good. It's like I'm not going to go back there to buy more stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much one and done. That like I need a coffee table, but they didn't have a coffee table that I liked. So like all you can do is say, oh, when you go buy furniture, I would recommend this place.
Yeah.
And hope that they get money that way. But it
sucks that it's one of those, big ticket items that you have for a long time. Because, it sounds like otherwise, like you would do, like you could do your daily shopping there and have a great experience.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had that same thing with a grocery store, right?
You do. You just go into a grocery store and get the stuff that you want. Like, yeah, grocery stores are manipulative in that they do the end cap thing, to get you to like splurge buy on an item you don't necessarily need or moving clearance items to an end cap. But for the majority of shopping is you get what you need and you don't interface with employees.
Yeah.
Like outside of cars and furniture, and houses, like the day of the salesman is over.
Yeah.
Like you used to go into a men's store and you'd have to deal with the salesman to get the clothes that you like. Whereas now you can just go to a department store and sure, the clothes aren't as high of quality, but like I have 60 of these t-shirts or something now, some ridiculous number. They're at Target. They're $7 now. Thanks, Joe Biden. And I just go, or they're $9 now. I think they were $7. Now they're $9 or something. They went up in price and I was pissed off, but I just go in and grab those shirts. And then I buy nice button down shirts to wear over them. There's nobody that goes in and like, yes, I'd like a Hanes Black Label. Oh, well, what kind of colors were you looking for? They only come in 4 colors. Just whatever extra larges are on the shelf, I'll just fucking put them in my cart. Like imagine if you went to the grocery store, right? And there was a employee who just pushed your cart for you.
Oh,
like
man.
You weren't allowed to take the things off the shelf and put them in your cart. That you had to just like this person had to follow along behind you and like, yes, I'll take the Hunt's ketchup. No, the 64-ounce bottle. I'll take the Hellman's mayonnaise, the big 32-ounce jar. Now let's
sounds terrible.
Go around to the bread aisle. Yes, I'd like the Sara Lee whole wheat. All right, now we're gonna need to pick up some eggs. I only need a 6-pack. Let's make sure they're not cracked. Like that's what furniture stores are.
Yeah.
Is this weird person hunting you and just ruining your experience and making your shit all cost way more.
Yeah.
Like Carl said in the YouTube chat, furniture has an insane markup. Like this place was able to just discount the shit out of this sofa because they have no overhead and they're paying one guy. Like I'm sure whatever I bought this sofa for paid for that guy for the day.
Oh yeah.
I sold one sofa today. My pay is covered. I sold 2 sofas today. My pay is covered and the cost of the building is covered. Like one and done. There you go. But no, for some reason those things still exist. They've got to. That's got to be an industry that's like in decline with the way you can buy almost everything online. Yeah. Furniture is still one of those things where, because I looked on Amazon thinking that when IKEA didn't have the sofa that I wanted to get, like there's a bunch of IKEA-like sofas on Amazon, but then I'm bringing the reviews, and some are like, "This sofa is great, I love it," and the bed is so comfortable. And the next review will be like, "This sofa is like sleeping on a slate slab. You can't sit on it for more than 15 minutes without being in excruciating pain." Like, who am I going to believe here?
Yeah, that's really the only downside.
And I can't tell because I can't, like, they can't ship me a sofa, me sit down there on it and be like, "Yeah, this sucks. Get this fucking thing out of here."
Like, yeah, because I was we don't have an IKEA here, and I was looking to get an IKEA bookshelf. So I was looking for like what's the next best thing, you know? So clearly someone has made a ripoff of this exact bookshelf, and they had. And I was looking at the reviews, and it's like 5 stars. I used to have the IKEA version. It broke, and I replaced it with this one, and it's much better. It's way sturdier. It holds more stuff. And then like the 1-star review was like, "This is made out of the cheapest plywood possible. Don't touch it or it will break."
Yeah. And how much of that is just like this person bought it like version 1 that was terrible, and this person bought version 2 that they've improved, or vice versa? There's no way to tell. So you're stuck going into being like stalked like an animal. Fuck furniture stores.
Furniture stores, the most dangerous game.
Well, Tim, what is your second issue this week?
Here's what I don't get. Appealing to the dumb. Tab, do you know anyone that is a racist?
Yeah, me.
Yeah. Other than you, though, do you know anyone else that's a racist?
Yeah, you.
Because everyone is.
Yeah.
Everyone is, right? But I'm talking about the people that, the one that they look at a person and they see the color of their skin and go, "Oh, because that person is blue, he's this, and he's this, and he's this, and he's this, and he's this," right? Mm-hmm. And they don't think about anything else, right? Whereas, you know, I think most people tend to, when they meet someone, judge them by their by them being a person, you know, first. Mm-hmm. I would call those people dumb, right?
That's fair.
And I think in general, that's what that sort of racism is relegated to, is people that I literally can't think as other people as people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so where I'm going with this is that apparently there are people that are saying that monkeypox needs to be renamed because it's racist.
Yeah, I've been seeing this.
Yeah. Could you explain to me how it's racist?
Yeah, they think that black people are monkeys. Like that's the argument being made, is that
yeah. Do you know why it's called monkeypox?
Because it came from a monkey.
Yes. Monkeypox was discovered in like a trial. It was like it was monkeys that were being used for research in 1958. They had outbreaks of this disease that they then coined monkeypox because it came from literal monkeys. And so there's these people that are saying that they need to change the name of it. The World Health Organization has already said that they want to change the name of it. Because
the only other name you could call it is the fag virus.
They call it, quote, discriminatory and stigmatizing.
Stigmatizing to whom?
Right.
Like, they just throw this shit out there. I truly believe that what they are doing is seeing, like, this is a test. This is a test of how gullible humanity is.
Yeah.
Like, remember when it was the Wuhan coronavirus, and they're like, "Well, that's not acceptable. Now it's COVID-19."
Yes.
And they completely changed the language on this.
So that's where I'm going.
Yeah, they're doing it again to see, like, okay, how much can we push these people into?
Not only that, but those same people, the people that would say that monkeypox is a racist name, they are more likely to believe in it or to go with it if they don't know what it is. You know what I'm talking about? How, like, dumb people, if they read like a word that they don't understand, they just like ignore it, right?
Yeah.
And so if a virus, if like a mass pandemic virus is called the China virus, right? That's easy to oh, well, I know where that comes from. That's very easy to understand.
Yeah.
But calling it COVID-19, that has no meaning. That's the scientific term. It has no meaning. And so when you change that to be, more scientific, the dumb person that they're appealing to has no sense of what that is, or like, you know what I'm talking about, has less knowledge of it now.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I read that the people were calling it racist.
Well, also, like, so there's this one of my favorite TV shows of all time was Becker, starring
Yeah.
Ted Danson as a short-tempered doctor in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an episode where he is being accused of being like this terrible person. He's racist and everything. And I think it was written in the newspaper. And the guy he's talking to says, well, you said all those things about Puerto Ricans. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you were complaining about your neighbor who grills on his fire escape. He said, yeah, I complain about him because he's an asshole, not because he's Puerto Rican. Mm-hmm. I never even said he was Puerto Rican. And the guy's like, well, he grills on his fire escape. Like, you're the racist.
Yeah.
You hear a behavior and say, oh, that can only be this one group of people. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is called monkeypox, so it must be about black people. Like, the fact that your brain jumps that way is you being the racist.
Yeah.
When I hear monkeypox, I think of a virus that came from a monkey. Like swine flu, if you're like, yeah, we have to change the name of this because it's offensive to Polish people. You'd be like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, along with the monkeypox, they want to change the name of the Spanish flu, right? The thing that happened more than 100 years ago. Yeah, they want to retroactively change the name of it.
Yeah, we live in a perpetual state of now. There is no past, there is no future, there is only now. We've always been at war with Eurasia. They're rewriting history as it happens to fit the new narrative.
Yeah.
We couldn't call the China virus because that was bad. So now we need to change all these other names that are reference to a region or a type of people or a thing to like more scientific names. So it's no longer the Spanish flu, it's no longer the yellow fever, it's no longer Zika or the West Nile virus
or Ebola.
Or Ebola, yeah. They've all got to be called like the bleeding anus disease or some stupid shit.
And it's because of the dumb.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would say, yeah. This is why this is why doing this show sucks, not in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing with the monkeypox that's like appealing to stupid people is this new narrative of like monkeypox is not a gay people virus.
Yeah.
Even though 98% of the infected are gays. Now, they're like, it's not a sexually transmitted disease. It's just transmitted from like bodily fluids touching open sores and shit.
Yeah.
Kind of. And when 98% of your victims are like gay men, and you're like, oh, look, these kids have it too. Where'd the kids get it? They live in a house with a gay man. Kind of makes you fucking fella wonder. I've been seeing that narrative blast all around the internet, and it's like, it's to make the dumb people feel better. Yeah. Oh no, we need to take this seriously because it affects everyone. It really doesn't. Like, a married couple that just engages in normal missionary sex once a week in their own home, zero risk of catching monkeypox. Your average incel not having sex with anybody, zero risk of contracting monkeypox. Gay man who goes to orgies, anonymous sex orgies every weekend, very high risk of monkeypox. What is going on there?
Yeah.
But we can't allow that narrative to happen because then we'd be diminishing a protected minority group from hurting their feelings. So we have to tell everyone they're at risk, and only the dumb people are the ones being like, "Oh my god, this is really serious. This is a serious virus. It's not a sexually transmitted disease. Like, congratulations, you're a mouthpiece for like a bunch of morons."
Yeah, God forbid we have different things happen to different, versions of the population as humans.
Well, and just like if you identify the root cause and like the at-risk groups,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it be a lot more effective to encourage protocols of safety in those groups versus being like, all right, everybody, everybody here, let's not go to anonymous gay sex orgies. Like, why are you telling me this? I wasn't gonna go to an anonymous gay sex orgy,
but I might now.
Like, I kind of feel like I'm not the one that should be here for this conversation. Like, well, I just want to tell everyone, that way everyone knows. And then, like, Richard Simmons is next to you, and you're like, I think you should just talk to Richard Simmons here.
Yeah, if I told you that I knew someone with vitiligo,
what is vitiligo?
Vitiligo is the thing that Michael Jackson had. It's the thing that
where you lose the pigment in your skin.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a good chance that there is certain skin.
Yeah.
Because more, or at least that someone was dairy intolerant, right?
Mm-hmm.
That affects more East Asian people than it does almost any other group. It's just a thing, right?
But
some of us are different.
And for whatever reason, like, the regions we come from influence that.
Yeah.
Like, should we treat people differently because of those differences? No. But like, it's the whole like changing of gender to being like genetically, biologically male or whatever, and like, oh, but now I'm a woman, so I need to go to an OBGYN, and like, because your blood chemistry, your like body chemistry is male.
Mm-hmm.
Medicines affect men and women differently.
Yeah.
Like, a woman on any medication needs a lower dose than a man.
Yep.
Because their metabolism is not as fast, and generally speaking, they're smaller.
Yeah.
So the shit saturates their system way faster than it does in men.
Same thing with alcohol. Alcohol is the exact same thing.
So when you're like, oh, we're going to like make these pills to be gender neutral by like putting it in the middle, instead of a 10 milligram dosage for men and a 5 milligram dosage for women, we're going to do a 7.5 milligram dose, then that everyone can take. Except now it's like affecting the women way worse, and it's not working for the men at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, just accept that we're different and stop trying to fucking change things to make people feel better. It's like when everybody has their preferred pronouns on their like email signatures and their fucking dating profiles.
Yeah.
And they're like, why don't you have your preferred pronouns on there? I don't care. I don't care in the sense that I think it's stupid, but I also don't care just in the fucking use whatever you want.
Yeah.
You want to call me she to try and prove something? I don't give a shit.
I don't care.
Yeah. My preferred pronouns are none.
Yep.
I don't have a preference. I prefer you call me by my name.
Yeah.
And when you're just referring to me in a conversation I'm not a part of, and you want to call me he, she, it, they, her, him, whatever, I don't fucking give a single fuck. But like, you can't put that in your email signature. You just get like oh, you should put your preferred pronouns in your stuff. That way people know what to call you. I don't care. I'm a 6'2" guy with a beard. Fucking figure it out. And if you want to be obstinate, then be obstinate. Like,
there's another word that they're trying to change.
Yeah.
Or they're looking at changing, and that's the word endemic.
Oh, yeah, they have to change it. Like recession, they have to change that. Mm-hmm. Tim, what's the definition of recession that you were taught in history class?
It's when there's not a lot of money going around.
It's 2 consecutive quarters of low GDP. And there's like a newer version of definition of recession that I also read. And that one is even like more generous in that it's not necessarily two consecutive quarters of negative GDP. Or negative growth. It can be any prolonged period of downward growth or stagnant growth, meaning that like you could have a recession that's a quarter of like 0.1% growth and then a downturn of negative 9%. That can be a recession, even though it's not 2 consecutive quarters. But they're trying to pretend like that's not what it is anymore. We live in fucking gaslit. We're being gaslit all the time. And I hate that phrase because the real thing is you're just being lied to.
Yeah.
But gaslighting is not just lying to you. It's trying to convince you that reality is different than what it is.
Yes.
So anyway, what was the other word that they're trying to? Oh, endemic.
Endemic. Yeah. So the reasoning they say is that is because the endemic is the term for a disease that is normally present in a specific place. It implies a sense of apathy among other people who aren't who aren't usually affected by that disease. This person, the World Health Organization got some person to talk about names and why they're racist. They say that the word endemic can create the impression that those specific people's suffering is to be expected and is acceptable, whereas the suffering that's happening other places as a result, in this example of monkeypox, is highly exceptional, and that they should be responding highly to those. And then that's racist.
That is just that was a bunch of
I don't
gobbledygook.
right.
I have
I don't
no
know
idea what any of that means.
Like what lines they're taking to get to this. They're just the line usually from one from logic point A to logic point B is usually straight, and you can see it easily. This is like just a curly queue of nonsense.
And that's the way you can tell. So I read that book Bullshit Jobs a few years ago by David Graeber. It's great. And the thing to me that I've kind of distilled out is that in a bullshit job, you can describe your job in one sentence or less, right? So like, I'm a technical director. I oversee all the technical aspects of the theater that I run. That's it. Like that's a very simple, concise description. Oh, okay. He that's what he does. Now, there's a position in theater called a dramaturg. Tim and I took the same script writing class, script analysis class in college.
Yeah.
And we did like half a semester on dramaturgs.
Yes.
And Tim, what does a dramaturg do?
Bullshit. It's if I had to describe it, it's kind of like if you were relating it to movies.
Already bullshit. See, the fact you've already spent more words trying to qualify your descriptor. And that's what the class was. Like, we had someone who was a professional dramaturg teaching this class, and we just kept asking, but what do they actually do? Okay, so they're a researcher. No. They do research, but they also... So what do you... And there was just, like, this whole, like, fucking Dale Gribble dodging of trying to... I'm the lighting designer. I oversee all of the lighting for the show. I'm the scene designer. I oversee the design and construction of the scenery for the show. I'm the prop master. I do everything that your actor sits on or holds. Like, all of these things are able to be described in very concise terms. And dramaturgs are like, well, we do research and we like look into the historical context of the show and all these other things. And it's like, this is all stuff that everyone else in the show is also doing. So why are you here?
Yeah.
And so many jobs. And when I start to see things like that, where you can't explain something in very concise, simple terms to someone, it tends to be bullshit. When you're like describing this endemic thing, and they're like, well, it's all these things, but we have to change these terms. Like, holy shit, my fucking head is spinning with bullshit. And other things like the real world doesn't work like that.
No.
When you have to like define, when you have like Supreme Court justice picks being interviewed and they're like, I can't define what a woman is. And then you ask like a turf and they're like, it's a biological adult biological female. That's a woman. And you're like, boom. There's a very simple, concise definition that I can understand. I cannot understand what the fuck you're talking about. About like just the general femininity and things that are opposite of men, and it's like, oh, blah 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 blah. So, man, fuck these people.
Yeah.
But that's the world we live in. We're cursed to just someone in the Discord the other day was like, Tab, do you ever get tired of being right? And I said, yes. I feel like Cassandra. Like I'm doomed to just speak prophecies that no one understands.
Yeah.
No one believes me. So, well, that's a great issue, Tim. And that wraps it up for this week's episode of Here's What I Don't Get. So until next time, I'm Tab. What? The 297. Oh, yeah, I forgot to put the banners up this time. Yeah. Oh, well. Until next time, I'm Tab Burt.
I'm Tim the Handlebreaker.
Catch you guys next week.
See ya.
If you want to call in the voicemail hotline, call us at 704-750-9434 and tell us what you don't get. Or you can visit us at in the Discord under the voicemail hotline. So I've got one here that I'm going to play first. If it'll open. Here we go.
Hey, fellas. Matt from Minnesota here. Just wanted to call and leave a quick don't get because we're running out of time here. Shitting in the punch bowl. Tab, I went and saw Weird Al this weekend, and I had an amazing time. I have no idea what's wrong with you and why you can't enjoy a live music. But, yeah, shitting in the punch bowl. He finished up the set with Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota.
Oh.
Was, obviously what he was going to play. And then the next day, I went and saw the Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota. And that was pretty cool. Kind of feeling left out on his feet, so I have left instructions for my probable final site producer demand. God, it's like 3 a.m. Fuck. But yeah, if you guys don't get my message on Patreon, I'm gonna have to do it here. Since Sage and Mr. Kill Guy seem to want to fuck each other so bad, for the remainder of the feud or the show, I would like you to play the sax from Careless Whisper over their voicemail.
Okay.
Do that That'd be great. All right. I'm rambling. Catch you later.
So I've got an instrumental version of Careless Whisper queued up. When we do, I'm going to try and save all of the Sage, Mr. Kill Everything stuff.
All the fight mails.
Fight mails, yeah. It may get us flagged off of YouTube because it's BMI, but we'll see. So here we go. We actually have a bunch from them. Actually, it looks like they're all Mr. Kill Everythings. But here we go.
Tim, Tab, since you do not listen to your own show, I'll fill you in with what's been going on. Sage is supposed to find me, and then we'll fight. Don't worry, the video doorbell will record everything, unless he goes to one of my jobs. But we have cameras there too, so that will be captured as well. Speaking of, my employment will resume at the pizza shop. I'll simply be
Fucking
one of those
genius.
guys who will cover a shift if someone calls off work if I'm available. So if Sage still wants to try to find me there, instead of taking the easier route of looking up cigar bars, well, if he calls the right place, and if he were to say to one of my coworkers, "Hey, this is Sage," and if they giggle, he'll know he found the right place, and plus my coworkers will be knowing that the voicemails and the stories are true. Also, I did not pawn off the fight to Dead Helm. Dead Helm challenged Sage to a fight, and that's what I was referring to. Sage needs to work for the fight between us, since it was his idea. I gave him clues. Tab, you also gave us some good clues of what he should do to find me. However, though, like Sage said, I may be turning over a new leaf too. I'll call back and tell you about it some more once I have my thoughts compiled.
This is genius. This is like the best
It's
suggestion
amazing.
ever.
Eric, the Red. The Terminator is the greatest Terminator movie. A killing robot is awesome. Unlike the liberal sissy non-killing robot to Judgment Day, who is sensitive to others, is a terrible movie. Fuck you. Sage. You know what? Maybe I've been a little hard on you over the years. And you know what? I'm sorry, Sage. You touched my heart, and I think I turned over a new leaf too. I humbly accept your gift, but you shouldn't send me flowers. I don't need any gifts right now. You're still welcome to come here, though. Instead of recording a fight, we'll take selfies of our new friendship. I'll even take you to my bar. We'll have a cigar. And a drink as well, of course. Even go to my pizza shop before they close, too. I'm telling you, this is the best pizza you'll find here in town. You can have my address. You can have it. You can find me at 2270 South 525 West, Beaver, Utah 84713. I'm not going to give you my phone number, though, because Tab was right. Our conversations and the evolution of our friendship should be left on this very show, and the after show when it just becomes a voicemail podcast. Thank you for the kind words, Sage, and I hope you could forgive me for everything that I have said the past however many years it's been. So, please accept my apology, and I hope you forgive me. Cheers, my friend.
We got a Dead Helm one.
Hey guys, Ben Helm here. So, I think Cigar Guy and Sage just need to fucking get it over with so I can fight him, right? He said fuck me or fight me, right? So, Cigar Guy and Sage need to fuck. I don't care how they fuck. They just need to fuck. And then I will fight Sage. Call me back. Sage, you know where I live. Do something about it, bitch.
There you
God,
go.
that last Mr. Kill Everything voicemail was perfectly said. It sounded like it was like a movie, right? Like things had gone horribly wrong, and the fight happened despite Sage not hearing that last voicemail. So Sage went into it with all he had. Like, imagine it's like a movie, right? And he kills Mr. Kill Everything, right? And he's injured himself. Like, he's got like a gunshot wound to the gut, and he makes it back to the motel, and it's sunset, and it's the 80s, of course. So he goes and he hits play on the answering machine while Careless Whisper plays in the background, and it's that. And he's sitting there bleeding, lying on the floor, while Mr. Kill Everything is like, "I'm so sorry, man. This should have never happened."
Yeah, the whole scene is like, did you get my message? Like, oh, I got your fucking message. Here's someone from Andy.
Hey guys. Yeah, I'm not underwater. I've actually got this big hole in the floor in the basement with a submersible pump in it called a sump. And as long as you got an active sump, then you really will never have more than like an eighth or a quarter of an inch of water, no matter how bad it gets. And its problem is, whenever you get bad like you get, you have no active pumping. That's whenever you get screwed over. I mean, that's just abysmal that they have the house set up like that. But you're talking about St. Louis being cursed and everything. And did you not pay attention to me for all the years I've been calling into the show? I mean, I've not had one, but two vehicles burned to the ground here. That's just the way it is here, man. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I was actually pretty confused as to why there's not a sump in the basement.
Yeah.
Like everywhere else I've had a basement has had a sump. So I don't know. I might see about like having one put in, specifically in the area where the water like really comes in and pools up. Just fucking dig a hole. You cut a hole in the concrete, put a pump in there, run the hose outside the house, fucking pump that shit in the street.
Here's what I don't get. In season 4, episode 22 of the classic American documentary series, Mr. Ed steals a truck. Now, right after he starts the truck, they show a camera shot of his hoof pushing on the accelerator, and you can clearly see there's a brake and a clutch. But never in his joyride of this truck all over town do you ever see him reaching down to shift gears. That's not how a manual transmission works. You have to shift gears. This show is so inaccurate.
I'm guessing that Andy was calling into a Mr. Ed podcast that went out the air. He's like, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to call these into Here's What I Don't Get.
Yep.
Is this episode going to be called Mr. Ed Drives a Truck?
Steals the truck. Yeah.
A sequel to the one about him in a plane.
Yep.
Oh, holy shit. What a great voicemail segment. I love this Careless Whisper thing. It's
Me too.
fucking 5 out of 5 stars. Big applause to Matt, Spite producer Matt from Minnesota. He made that so much better.
Okay.
So we'll be doing that for the foreseeable future. So, well, that wraps us up for this week. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Keep listening. Join us on the 14th of August for our big episode 299 send-off. And, yeah, thanks to everyone. We'll see you next time.
See ya.